Meghan is being criticised for speaking out about her time as a briefcase girl on Deal or No Deal in 2006. American columnist Kat Timpf has told Meghan to get a grip after constantly complaining about her life. She said, all of her millions and millions of dollars and all the prestige that she's had, and yet all this person can do is constantly complain. I don't think I've ever heard her say something positive. It's always a sob story, it's very intense. She's never just a little sad. Everything is the worst thing, the worst life. She has to get a grip. Former Tory MP Louise Mensch said, I'll tell you the way that Meghan and Harry could win over the British public. Give up your titles, all of your titles, and become Mr. and Mrs. Mountbatten Windsor, and we will respect you. Moreover, Good Morning Britain's Richard Madeley blasted Meghan Markle on Wednesday morning when he slammed her bimbo claims. Speaking about Markle's new episode of her Archetypes podcast, the controversial anchor slammed the star for moaning about a job on Deal or No Deal in the US. Is there anything Meghan Markle won't moan about, he asked. She's mourning about the show that made her. Deal or No Deal, the classic American show, he went on. Richard added, she's saying that the show, which she did in 2006, made her look like a bimbo and objectified her, and her co-bimbo who worked on the show, not. She's come out and said, excuse me, I wasn't treated like a bimbo, and neither were you, actually. We weren't objectified. We were picked to do the job that we did on the show because of our intellect and because our personality, and because we can actually be able to relate to the contestants. Alright, we had to look good, but... Susanna chimed in, this is the latest episode of the podcast Archetypes, of course, before Richard snapped again. Of course, well, she never stops moaning, ever, he slammed. Sticking up for Markle, Susanna said, or alternatively, it might be that she's analysing some of the stereotypes that women find themselves fitted into, and one of them is to dress a certain way and look a certain way. Then why did she do it? Richard snapped back. Susanna simply said, well, before trailing off, they pay you money and you make the choices. Richard blasted before adding, I mean, her co-star, who's a star in her own right now, I'm going to read this out now. She's the Real Housewives of Atlanta star Claudia Jordan. This is the woman who's saying, no, Meghan, no, it wasn't like that at all. We weren't objectified, we weren't treated as bimbos. And she goes on to say, we got a lot of opportunities because of that show. Our careers took off because of it. Susanna then added, I think Meghan acknowledges that it was a really important job for her and enabled her to pay the bills. But yes, you're right, Richard, she's done that in a podcast. And I think she did take a risk by saying that by taking the job she ended up looking like a bimbo, because you're going to have every other woman on that show saying, are you telling us that we're all bimbos? They weren't just picked for the way they looked. Furthermore, Whoopi Goldberg didn't feel sorry for Meghan. She bluntly stated, that's TV, baby. What did you think you were going to do? You know that's what the show was. Goldberg continued her diatribe against Markle, saying that she didn't believe viewers were actively objectifying the star on screen. I don't know that the people who are sitting there watching are thinking about you like that. They're thinking, I want the money, she declared. Wheel of Fortune hostess Vanna White is always in something interesting and beautiful, and she's been doing this forever. The objectification might be coming from you and how you felt about how these women were being portrayed. And that's what you have to change, because we're performers, Goldberg continued. When you're a performer, you take the gig.